Hello YouTube. I'm finally coming back with some retro coding, which I've been looking forward to doing for some time and haven't managed to find the time. I lost a lot of the knowledge, so I'm back almost at square one. If you've ever seen my channel Retro Coder TV, you'll know what I'm like. There is a lot of trial and error, finding out new stuff, most sessions, and then we use what we learn and build a game using them skills. We're not we're not going to cover every aspect of assembly language. There's some interesting stuff though. But I thought I'd create this recorded video for anyone who wants to see how I set up my development environment for assembly code in specifically the Game Boy this time around. And I am going to be branching off to a lot of other systems, and I thought I'd show you here. Just this is a preview of what we'll be looking at soon. I'm actually building this game here. You should see the car come back into view. There he is. Look, we can control him. He has gravity. This is a clone of Space Taxi, a very early stage. I'm really looking forward to making this live on stream. I just wanted to polish my skills a little before I went doing it live because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But I've kind of got the gist of it again now. And so this is just to show you I'm using an emulator. You can use any you want. I'm using Emulicious, which does a multitude of different systems. As far as I know, they're pretty accurate, and they have a very nice debugger, which I only know a little bit about so far, but even the little bit I know is very useful. It actually gets the names of your labels there without you doing anything. So I'm going to show you all that, but this video right now, I'm waffling already because this video is just for setting this up, and it's for the complete beginners who want to start from scratch. So you might hear a lot of stuff you already know, or you might not know anything. So I'm going to try and treat it as if you don't know anything. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to need here, this is our text editor here. And I absolutely recommend Visual Studio Code. So you just literally Google Visual Studio Code and you download. Okay, I'm not going to download it. The next thing you're going to want is can't even type, RGBASM. That is the assembler. And I just googled it, and here you can click install. Now everything I'm saying here is specific to Windows, and I'm sure it's similar on Mac and Linux, but I don't want to comment on that for sure because I've never used those. It's talking about adding stuff to the path here. Yeah, I did do that actually, so I'll talk about that as well in a minute. But anyway, for now you just download the binaries. Use a pre-built version. I had to do this for a while. A lot of this could all be ignored if you're using Windows. Do you know what? I wonder if I... first pick the version you want to install. There you go. I installed the latest stable. So there's the link if you want to go straight to it. And if I'm not super lazy, I'll put that in the description. So when you've installed VS Code and you've got this this on your system, you're gonna find a place to put it, and I believe I put it GameBoy dev. See, I'm very unorganized with this sort of thing. Some people love to really arrange their file system. I don't need to do that. I just got the compiler in one of these locations. Do you know what? I don't even see it there. I'll just read through the my build script to see where it is. RGBASM. We can check our environment variables. Just write environment there and go to there. Here it is. So dev. Oh, I didn't put it in Game Boy. I just put it straight into dev. See how unorganized I am? Obviously, you can be much more organized than me if you choose to be. But essentially, you just put that release of RGBASM into this folder, and then you add that folder there into your path there. And that's going to allow PowerShell to just find it. Here, we're skipping ahead really. We'll come to that in a minute. The last thing you want to do after you've added that to the path is download Emulicious. Again, you know, I'm sure you've searched Google before, but you can literally just Google it and you're going to find it. That's the one I downloaded. If you get the one with Java, that includes that you don't need to install anything. It sounds scary. I didn't want to install Java on my system, but that just installs it, I guess, locally to the installation or whatever, because it doesn't show up anywhere else on my system with Java. Not that I have anything particularly against Java. I just haven't used it for ages. I didn't see the need to have it on my system just for an emulator. But so anyway, they're the files. You obviously install that. Well, I don't think you even need to install it from memory, but you put it somewhere in a safe folder. Of course, once you've got everything, it is important to make sure you've got a folder structure. So I keep all my projects in documents ASM. Alright, and then I've got Game Boy, and there's my projects. Inside a project, this is the one I'm really working on right now. I create a folder called Ink and a folder called Build. Sorry. The Ink one we're not going to worry about at all because that's going to be in another video coming up soon. There's nothing to do with setting up your build environment. You don't even, this is optional as well, this build folder. You could obviously just keep it in the same file if you wanted to. In fact, you'll see that I did actually create this shell script in the same window, in the same folder as the project. That was just to simplify this. And then in here I've just got a shortcut, because that's the folder I sort of leave open down there, and I didn't want to keep flicking back and forth, so that's the only reason I did that. Here this would be empty, okay, so you just have that, and then once you've got some working code, you can let's look at it again because I didn't actually run through this, but this calls, as you can see, this is doing 3 things, well 5 things actually, but 3 ASM files, and that's because I've got 3 different ASM. I haven't actually included level. You can ignore that for now. So we've got main, player, and GB. That forms this game here. Every time you have to tailor this to your game. So I've got the main, which I always leave as main, player, which to be honest I always leave as player as well, and then GB functions, which again I never rename. It's always the same name. Um, I mean, I just had to learn these just by reading them. I don't understand them fully, but I guess that's saying it needs to link it or something. And it's going to create an object file. Oops. That's the name of the object file, and that's the name of the script that we're going to use to make that. Same again, same again. Once it's done all those, you run RGB link, and you at first, obviously, you put the -O. I'm not quite, again, I don't know what that does. I'm not that clever yet, but then you put the name of the output file. That's going to be your game ROM with an asterisk that it doesn't quite work yet. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. The -M. Don't ask me, but anyway. Oh, that's to create a map. Actually, I do know that. I like to have a map file, which we'll talk about in another video. You don't need to do that, but there you go. That's the name of the outputted map file that we're going to create. .n. That's doing the same thing with a sim file. It's similar to a map. And here we have the three object files. These are the ones that this just created. So we're putting all of those into one with RGB link. And then finally we do RGB fix with those parameters. Oops, daisy. With those parameters. And we give it the ROM. Must be the same, of course, because that's basically adding a header to that ROM. And some, you know, it's setting up the file system for the Game Boy to actually run it. There's much more to learn about that. I'm giving you a rough crash course that gives you enough to literally get started, and that's it. I have this pause here so that if there were any errors, I can read those. I normally just put that there, actually, like that, and then it'll just disappear, that window. The problem with that is if you do have errors and you don't expect to have errors, you might notice that your code doesn't take any effect, and that can confuse you. So sometimes it's nice just to have it on pause there. You'll always see the errors. Alright, so like I say, when you have that script set up and you have the file structure set up the same as me, you have working assembly language code here. You right click run with whatever it's called, PowerShell, and as you can see it's created all those files. I can then just drag the GB file into that, and it's going to reload. But I know from experience chatting to some people as well as in other systems I've worked on over the years, there's much better ways of setting up an environment. You can have it you can have your file structure set up differently. It's a bit more confusing in my opinion, not necessary, but you know, someone might be able to tell me in the comments why I should do it differently. You can also, oh, there was something else I was going to say then, just totally forgot about it. Oh yeah, you can also use the run and debug here, but you have to set up a build.json, I think, to do that, and then tell it where the emulator is and stuff. Launch.json, look. So that'll be something I'll look at again another time. There's actually a plugin for Emulicious, which I do have, but I've not used yet. Don't even know what it does just yet. But it's essentially doing the same thing as just dropping that in there. And since we've got the debugger there, I mean, yeah, we'd be able to add a breakpoint here probably, and it would work. So it's going to be worth linking that up eventually. At the moment, if you add a breakpoint here or anywhere, my code isn't going to care, because even if I compile it, because it's not set up for that. I mean, I don't actually know that for a fact, so let's just try putting it there for a second. Save it. As you can see, it ends without error. Yeah, it doesn't do anything, which is what I expected. But yeah, there's better ways of setting up your dev environment, but this is just a crash course for anyone who wants to get started in the next 5 minutes. You know, you can start up, get it working. Soon there'll be my GitHub. I do have stuff on there, but it's for the ZX Spectrum at the moment and for PC development. But there'll be some Game Boy stuff on there soon, and I'll put a link in the description to that. We're going to branch off to the Commodore Amiga, the Sega Master System, the NES, SNES, everything. So it's going to be a fun journey. Hope you can come along for the ride. Anyway, I'm going to come back later this evening with another recorded video of some more information about just Hello World style. This has had nothing to do with coding right now. This was, as I said before, just setting up the environment itself. The next one, we're going to draw the background of the Game Boy, and we're going to create our own picture, which just says Hello World, and that'll be it. Look forward to seeing you then. Look after yourselves and have fun. Bye bye.